released on Monday, waived. Will probably be claimed on waivers because in theory, he's still a useful back. He's out. The Broncos are down to Latavius Murray, Marlon Mack, kind of an all-time in this economy backfield.
Right.
It's a down bad backfield for just a hellaciously down bad team. But you tell me, Denny, that Latavius Murray is one of the ads of the week. I have to agree. It's probably true.
Right. You can't get around it. I mean, he hasn't been particularly good per the metrics, but
per the metrics, per the eye test, per the box score, per the vibes.
I've never watched the Broncos game, thank God. But he's available in 75% of leagues. I believe he will be the lead back going forward. Whether he gets the routes and the targets, I think that's probably up for grabs. The hope is that he gets some of that. I think the hope is that Latavius Murray gets all or almost all of the early down banger stuff, right? The goal line stuff, and then some of the pass catching work. And if he gets that, then I think, he has a path to RB2-ish viability. He still will be touchdown dependent. This is actually a Broncos team that has, I know we all know about the passing game struggles. Okay. That's apparent, like painfully apparent every single week, but they also stink on the ground. Third worst EPA per play via the rush this year. So I don't see this as like a huge thing for Latavius Murray, but you could do way worse if you can pick him up off the waiver wire this week.
And we're getting some real immortal, undead zombie RBing from Latavius Murray, who his career seemed over several times. But yeah, it popped up like almost literally out of nowhere for the Saints earlier this season. It had like 12 touches in a game. Then like just as quickly as out of nowhere on the Broncos. It was the second time as a Bronco. It was actually the third time as a Bronco. He had reached 14 carries on Sunday. He just seemed like the classic, kind of like Jamal Williams. Like he's a coaching staff back. Like,
right.
They're like, this Latavius Murray.
Coaching staffs love Latavius. Like the Saints loved him. I think the Raiders, well, maybe the Raiders didn't, but
no, they didn't love him. They were the only ones.
Yeah,
they don't like good
I think maybe tells you something about that organization. But the goal line work is important because the Broncos are among the run heaviest teams inside the 10-yard line. Melvin Gordon, just for instance, this past week against the Raiders, he outsnaps Latavius Murray at the goal line. So if you strip away that and you give that opportunity to Murray, I think that he has a lot of touchdown appeal.
And so Murray, bye weeks are coming to an end soon. There are no byes in week 12. There will be some teams that make a claim on Latavius that might not have a ton of use for him, but knock on wood, this has actually been a year kind of low on impact backfield injuries. Like that second wave of like RB2s that you usually get from the waiver wire just has not really materialized. And and you can't count on that to just like materialize. I mean, injuries probably do increase as the season goes along, but like he might not feel super inspiring on the waiver wire, but I do think you should be fairly aggressive with Latavius Murray Biggs. We're running out of time on the fantasy regular season, and knock on wood, we've been keeping players pretty healthy this year, and you could do a lot worse than Latavius Murray.
And also don't freak out, overreact, and drop Melvin Gordon. Hang on to him, see what happens, see how it unfolds. He could land in a pretty good spot, and he's not been good, but we're looking for some opportunity.
The good news is too, that move I believe was processed on Monday afternoon, so the waiver claim should come Tuesday. So you might know even before you put on your waiver claims what Melvin Gordon's new team will be. Melvin Gordon has been real bad, real bad.
Yeah. No, it's he's like at the bottom of like yards after contact over expected, like all of the things that tells you like if a guy's overperforming. Turns out Melvin Gordon is not.
We'll have some more backfield ads to talk about later in the show. But Denny, are you saying the ad of the week? First off, you're breaking the rules because this player is 51% rostered. Would you say the ad of the week is the New York Giants' Darius Slayton?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, unless Joe Mixon's situation is more dire than we think, but yes, I would say Slayton has a huge opportunity here with Wan'Dale Robinson done for the year with an ACL. He has more targets than any Giants receiver since week 5. He's been targeted on about 22% of his routes, which, not fantastic, but that'll get you there. His target competition now, Pat, includes big names like David Sills, Marcus Johnson, and Kenny Golladay. So I think Slayton could get enough of the small pie. We talk about in the Giants passing game. It is a very low volume passing attack. Even when they're chasing points, they're still pretty run heavy. But I think that with Wan'Dale Robinson's injury, Slayton, those 5 and 6 target games could suddenly turn into 8 and 9 target games. That's a big difference. I for one, I will take it.
Yeah, they turned into a 10 target game on Sunday against the Lions. It was the first time since 2020 Darius Slayton had drawn 10 targets. And I've never quite understood why successive coaching staffs like soured on Darius Slayton so quickly, because we know he can do damage down the field. He seemed like he had added like an intermediate and even like short element to his game. Maybe he's like, at best, he's someone who should be like a number 3 receiver, but he can soak up looks. And we know that he has big playability if he gets enough looks. And where else are these looks going to go? You mentioned all these pass catchers. I can't believe you didn't mention Isaiah Hodgins, Denny.
Is it Hodgkins?
No, it's not. It's Hodgins. Yeah. And you didn't mention Lawrence Cager, although you did mention him on the phone earlier.
Lawrence Cager is a tight end.
He is tight end and wide receiver eligibility on Yahoo, though. Did you know this?
I didn't know. The interns did not tell me that.
No, I didn't tell you. But
so I'm embarrassed.
You said you were going to give us some sicko names, and you didn't get nearly as sicko as you could. Is there a secondary Giant ad, or is it just Darius Slayton? And the answer can be there is no secondary.
Yeah, no. I mean, it could be Sills. Sills runs a lot from the slot. Wan'Dale Robinson was operating from the slot. I will say that Wan'Dale
David Sills, is he still playing? Did he get a target this week? Are we?
I actually don't.
We passing out fake news on David Sills? No, he's still on the team.
Yeah,
he's still active.
I mean, he
seems to be behind Richie James, though, Denny.
Yeah, right. And we know how Richie James goes. When everybody picked him up, it was completely not used. I mean, Richie James is a name. He is a guy on the Giants. But I do think, Slayton's target profile is totally different than Wan'Dale Robinson. So somebody is going to have to take some of those short area targets. Maybe it's actually Saquon Barkley now that I think of it.
Yeah, I would say there's no second ad after Darius Slayton, and it's just kind of chaos.
That's probably the answer. Yeah.
It's just chaos behind him, and we don't really know how that will shake out. I mean, maybe our guy Isaiah Hodgins just really steps up.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.